Good morning. This is Quiet Echo. I'm George Kahn, and I'll be your host for this episode. Teresa set the week yesterday with a question. Remember who you are. She told the story of Baker and Amp Taylor, a company forgetting who it served, drifting until the lights went out. Asia read the piece out loud to me at breakfast. I have been thinking about it since. Not about companies forgetting, about people who never do. The siren went off at 2:14 a.m. last Thursday morning. I know the time because the twins sat up in bed and Aisha was already at the window before I found my boots. By the time I got outside, I could see the light bar heading south on Route 9. One truck, used to be two. Cedar Valley's volunteer fire department has 11 active members. 3 years ago, it had 22. The youngest is 38. The oldest is 67 and has a bad knee he does not talk about. When the siren sounds at 2 in the morning, these are the people who get out of bed, leave their families, and drive toward the thing everyone else is running from. Nobody pays them. Nobody covers it in the news. Nobody posts about it the next day. I want to tell you something most people do not know. This is happening everywhere, not just Cedar Valley. Everywhere. New York State had 120,000 volunteer firefighters 5 years ago. Today it has 80,000. 40,000 people stopped showing up. On Long Island, the Floral Park Center Fire Department closed a few weeks ago. Just closed. Other departments are pooling crews to get a single truck out the door. A house fire in Mineola last month required 5 departments to respond. Not because the fire was large, because no single department had enough people to fight it alone. Go wider. In 1984, nearly 900,000 Americans served as volunteer firefighters. By 2020, the number had dropped below 700,000. During the same stretch, calls to those departments tripled. Fewer than 12 million a year in 1986. More than 36 million by 2021. Fewer people. 3 times the work. And nobody talking about it. 82% of fire departments in this country are all volunteer or mostly volunteer. In rural America, the number is higher. When your house catches fire outside a city limit, the person pulling up is not a professional. It is your neighbor. Someone who trained on weekends. Someone who bought gear with pancake breakfast money. Someone who showed up because nobody else would. In Bell Valley, Ohio, the volunteer chief protects a sprawling rural county on $58,000 a year. Less than one American worker's average annual wage. His department raises money through gun raffles, bowling tournaments, barbecue dinners. The families of firefighters pour the orange juice. The kids wipe down the folding tables. When the engine needs replacing, the price tag can reach 7 figures. The budget does not reach 6. In Oklahoma right now, volunteer departments are fighting wildfires with outdated gear. Communities are donating bottled water and beef jerky to keep their own firefighters in the field. In Missouri, rural chiefs say the grant money they once depended on is drying up, getting harder to find, harder to win. I service 2 of our department's portable pumps. I rebuilt the pull start on a K-12 rescue saw last fall. I know the equipment because I know the people carrying it. Every one of them has a day job. Every one of them misses sleep, misses dinner, misses the game. They do not complain about it. They just show up. Teresa told the story of people who forgot. I am telling the story of people who remember. These volunteers remember every single time the siren wakes them. The problem is not forgetting. The problem is there are fewer of them every year, and nobody is standing behind them to fill the gap. Now, to be fair, the world changed. People work longer hours. Commutes are farther. Families have less margin. The young people who once walked into the firehouse at 18 now move to cities for work and do not come back. Asking someone to volunteer 40 hours a month on top of a full-time job and a family is asking a great deal. The decline is understandable, but understandable is not acceptable. These departments are the last line between a house fire and a total loss. Between a car wreck on a county road and a person bleeding out before help arrives. Between a family asleep at 3 in the morning and nobody coming when the smoke detector goes off. Lars said something to me last week I cannot shake. He said every institution in a small town survives on the same fuel. People who show up without being asked. The church, the school board, the fire department, the food bank. When the showing up people get tired and nobody replaces them, the institution does not reform. it does not get a second chance. It just closes. And the community wakes up one morning and wonders where it went. I watched the truck come back Thursday around 4. One truck. 11 people standing between this town and whatever comes next. They remembered who they are. They have always remembered. The question Teresa raised Monday was aimed at companies and businesses. I am aiming it somewhere else. It is aimed at the rest of us. The people who sleep through the siren. The people who see the truck pass and go back inside. The people who assume someone else will show up. Someone has been showing up for decades without being asked or paid. They are getting tired. They are getting older. And there are fewer of them every year. Remember who they are before it is too late. This is George Kahn. Lars Olsen is here tomorrow with practical truths. I will see you next Tuesday. This podcast is part of the fictional Cedar Valley news series, written by Evan Swenson, publisher, publication consultants, and Claude Marshall, AI developmental editor. While the people in town are fictional, the national events they reflect on are real. Want to know the full story behind Cedar Valley? Teresa, Caleb, Dan, and the community you've come to know in these editorials first came together in quiet. Discover how a small town found its way from fear to fellowship, one quiet act of courage at a time. Available on Amazon, https://bit.ly/3me4nss. Why do words matter? Because they change lives. When someone reads them, discover why purpose is the foundation of every sentence worth writing in The Power of Authors by Evan and Lois Swenson. Available on Amazon.
You've been listening to the Cedar Valley News Podcast, where small-town voices meet the headlines shaping our world. From faith and family to front porches and fields. We'll be back with more stories connecting real lives to real events. Until next time, keep your porch light on, your faith strong, and your heart open.